Hello, welcome to Storysip. It is your host, M, and followed by GD and Khan. Today we're going to talk about Xmen 97, newly streaming on Disney Plus, an animated superhero show, the continuation of the original Xmen 23 or something else. So it's going hot, and we have watched the first 5 episodes, and we're here to talk about it. So what are your thoughts on it? GD?
Real good.
No.
Unexpectedly good.
Yes, pretty much. Cuck?
Well, I haven't watched the first show, obviously.
Yeah.
Since we haven't born at all.
So we have like 3 different perspectives this time. GD is a lifelong Marvel fan, I know,
Yeah.
but he has not watched the original show, right?
Yeah, I haven't watched the original show, but I've read the comic books it's based upon.
Yeah, he has a general understanding of Marvel comics and shows and all that stuff. And Khan, on the other hand, has watched...
Just the movies.
Just the
not
movies.
Comic part.
Okay, you haven't watched the original show, right?
No.
Okay. And me, I'm a lifelong hardcore X-Men fan. I have watched all the movies countless times, and I have watched the original show after I born, of course. But I really do love this show, and it is unexpectedly good this time. So right off the bat, we're going to start with episode 1 with the arrival of our X-Men team and Magneto's ascension to X-Men leadership.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, GD, what do you think about it? Is Charles doing a bigger plan, or Magneto is lying, or they're undergoing a little bit?
Yeah, I don't believe the guy.
Why? He's a good guy.
After all the things he's done, for over 60 years now, I don't believe the guy. I don't believe that Xavier wholeheartedly is just like, okay, screw Cyclops, screw Wolverine, screw my lifelong students and basically adopted children. I'm just gonna give everything to my arch rival and friend, of course.
He's a chill dude. He has done some little mistakes, little bit of war crimes, maybe
Terrorism,
here and there, little bit, somewhat, but he's a cool guy. I don't know. Yes, Magneto. Magneto has been the new leader of X-Men by testimony of Charles Xavier, because he has a grand plan or something else. We don't know, but GD does not trust him. But I do. I love Magneto. So what do you thought?
I love him as well. Come on, he's an amazing villain.
He's so good. He's
an amazing
so
villain.
good. He's so good.
But he's a villain after all.
But he's a redeemable villain, I think. Like
how?
Like we have seen his perspective a lot in the recent X-Men movies, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Like in First Class, in Days of Future Past, and the modern iteration of the character is much more human than like in the late 70s or 80s.
True, yeah, true.
So I think Marvel is going like in a little more redeemable villain-esque anti-heroes for these newer series. And X-Men 97 is one of the like top contenders for this. Like they want Magneto to be in the forefront of the show, and I think that's a perfect choice. Like he's the most compelling character in this show, in my opinion.
Yep, I can see that. But I mean, if it's the other way around, I can accept that as well, because since like they try to be faithful to the originals in this show, that's pretty much what I've been seeing, at least. That's my interpretation of it. They're trying to stick to the originals, so I can see it going both ways. Magneto might turn face again,
maybe.
or he'll stay villain. We'll see.
We'll see.
Xavier is a smart guy, so if he trusts him, I think we'll give him a
I
chance.
love this.
I'd like to quote Magneto on that in the show. He says Xavier can make mistakes.
Yeah.
He literally quotes that.
Okay, that's fine as well. But I still think that Magneto is a good choice to like elevate this story on a newer level. Like we have seen Magneto as the like main threat of the X-Men for a long time.
Yep.
And even though I love him as a character, I do love more when he is in this kind of situations. Like he pushes himself to be like a anti-hero-esque hero. And I think the best X-Men stories are born within those kind of contexts. Not when he's the main villain, but when he's more like an anti-villain.
I mean, you can't beat the classics. The classics, X-Men versus Magneto, will always be good.
It is a good classic. I adore that. But like, time has changed a lot. We have seen a lot of animated shows. We have seen a lot of movies. We have seen a lot of stories about X-Men versus Magneto and Hellfire Club. So I always love that. It's so classic. We all love Spider-Man versus Green Goblin. We all love Superman versus Lex Luthor. But the modern type of stories we encounter, I do love when they go in a new route and choose like different iterations of characters to create a new story.
Honestly, yeah, that's actually what I love about this show. They stay faithful to the originals while also maybe changing or adding some newer things.
Exactly. So we can jump on to episode 2. By the way, in episode 1 we see a lot of Sentinels action and good set pieces. I also want to hold out Cyclops a little bit because I think he has also a good amount of screen time in this show, and writers are just like big Cyclops fans. And you can just feel right away. I personally love Cyclops so much. He's one of my favorite X-Men. And dude, his action sequences, like the way he uses the visor and all the laser stuff, is so imaginative, and I love that so much.
I agree.
Like the way he, that scene where the X-Jet like gets destroyed and they're all free falling, and he uses the lasers to slow himself and land safely. That was so cool.
Yeah, amazing.
That is exactly the type of content I want to watch from an X-Men show. I love that.
Yeah, I want to see the mutants use their powers creatively.
Yes, exactly. Con?
Well, you're right. It somehow hold my attention after all these years. I sense that I needed this type of content in my life.
Yeah.
Like all the new shows are somehow distinctive, but in a wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't feel myself in them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly gonna say they take a lot of complex stuff in the movies and the TV shows and such, but I wanted something simple, something I can watch in 30 minutes and be content with. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
exactly. By the way, like in Disney Plus Marvel shows, there has been like a huge decline over the quality, in my opinion. Like I have lost my interest a long time ago when the new Marvel shows were streaming, and this instantly got my attention right back away. I mean, it's crazy good at sometimes. It has its flaws, in my opinion. We're going to talk about them in a minute. But yeah, a good introduction in the first episode and a good twist in the end.
Yeah.
So later on, episode 2, I think it's even better than episode 1, which we face with a court scene and Magneto goes there by himself and lets humans to judge him in the court. And there was a really good speech scene in the ending.
Yeah, the guy is made for politics.
Exactly. Like every time Magneto does a political and a well-crafted speech to the world, if I put one coin, I would probably be rich by now in everything. They write his lines so carefully. They give a lot of care to his dialogues and his story, which I really love. And also, one of the highlights of the episode too, when Storm loses his powers.
Yeah.
That's also good. We also have a little
my girl lost his power, lost her powers.
It was quite sad.
Yeah. They had to nerf her. They had to nerf her for the coming fight sequences.
She lost her Omega level.
Was she Omega level?
She lost her every level, basically.
Exactly. Is she Omega level mutant, by the way?
Yeah.
Is she? Oh, okay. I don't know.
I mean, the girl controls the entire atmosphere.
Yeah, she's powerful. Okay, episode 2. So, and of course, the biggest twist in episode 2 is at the ending. Jean Grey gives birth to Nathan Summers, which is the son of Cyclops and Jean Grey. But at the end, we realize something, that she's not Jean Grey after all. She is Madeline Pryor from Mr. Sinister, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, Mr. Sinister has
basically Jean Grey's clone.
Yes, basically Jean Grey's clone,
which ties into episode 3.
Exactly. Mr. Sinister is a classic villain from the original show, which I really love, and I think they have brought back the original voice actor for him.
Probably.
They have tried to gather every single person they actually did work in the original show. Some of the voice actors have passed away, but they have collected a lot of, like, Wolverine, Rogue are the same. Jean is also, I think, the same. Cyclops' voice actor has sadly passed away, but they have found a perfect match. I think the voice actor is doing an amazing job at the character.
Honestly, since we're in the topic of voiceovers, like,
yeah.
I can wholeheartedly say that every voice actor did an amazing job.
Yes.
Like, all of the voice lines are iconic, all of the quotes are iconic, and the way that they deliver them in, like, heartfelt scenes and such, it's actually incredible.
They do pour their hearts on it every single time. Like, I genuinely cannot believe how, like, deeply they love these characters and this story as well. Like, it is so palpable in their voice, and I love that.
Yeah.
I really do. Con, what do you think about the voice actors? Do you have a distinctive favorite one, or like a comment on it? I know you love Wolverine.
The most, I enjoy Wolverine. I enjoy the Bob.
Yeah, anytime he says Bob,
I take a sip. Well, the most distinctive one is, I think, Gambit's voice actor.
Oh, he's really good.
Like, he did an amazing job, but I believe that, unfortunately, like, Southern accent and French words don't mix. That's my opinion.
Maybe.
but like, he pours his heart out. Okay, the emotional scenes that Gambit's in, like, it's really heartfelt.
It is. We're going to talk about episode 5 in a minute. I know everybody's probably waiting for that. We also do. Wolverine. Let's talk about little Wolverine. Wolverine is such an iconic character, and the entire movie franchise is kind of based upon him. And I do believe he's like a really iconic and well-developed character. But I love the fact that they wanted to, give Wolverine a little setback to actually discover the other iconic and well-written characters, motivations and all their personalities.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, he is the mascot of Xmen. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he is.
But the other characters need more time in the spotlight.
Exactly. I do love Wolverine a lot, but I gotta say I'm kind of little, tired to see him in every single of these movies, and he's like a face front of everything. But as time goes on, started to go on a little bit different road, and they are giving a lot of these different characters more screen time and more forefront, which I always love.
And honestly, I like him as a side character. I mean,
exactly.
As a comic relief, he's amazing.
Yeah, he is exactly. His lines are amazing. Every time he says "Bob," take a sip.
Yeah.
So
he was like somehow in a coach position.
He's basically not leading per se, since it's Cyclops' job, but he's basically guiding the X-Men.
Caring uncle.
Yeah, basically, I like a caring uncle. Yeah.
I love
caring but angry at the same time.
Really angry, really angry.
That's how they are.
Yeah.
Oh, they are. I really love the dynamic between Cyclops and Wolverine. By the way, like, Cyclops is, I think, a really well-written leader figure, while Wolverine is also as much caring as a team as Cyclops is like a little bit of Lancer style. Like, he always questions Cyclops' authority. Like, the way he did not like with Charles when he was in the leader aspect of the X-Men.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of interesting conflict there to explore, and I'm really looking forward to them writing more about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we talked about all of these things. We can go back to Madeline Pryor and Jean Grey. So episode 3 is more like an aftermath to episode 2. We learn more about Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
and we learn about Madeline Pryor, who is the perfect copy of Jean Grey that Mr. Sinister has crafted from the DNA of Jean Grey herself and switched their places in an unknown time. So nobody knows like when did Madeline arrived and when did Jean leave. So they are not sure which of the memories they possess are themselves are belonging to themselves. So I think that is a perfect like a thematic and like a story structural thing to write. I think it will be amazing to watch in the future seasons and future episodes.
Yeah.
Like that's a really creative way to elevate the story in another sense. So Con, what do you think?
Well, he cloned the most powerful character in the series.
Yeah, that is also
probably, yeah.
And I'm glad that which episode was in, I don't know. I'm glad that she is in the good side now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, to be fair, like what I'm wondering is how did Sinister capture Jean Grey? Probably the most powerful X-Men.
We have no idea about it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to know more about that.
Exactly.
Make more seasons.
Make more seasons right now. We have questions right now. But exactly. How did this man capture Jean Grey, the most powerful mutant ever lived, probably, maybe even can be rivaled by Scarlet Witch, maybe. But yeah, there is a lot of good stories there to be explored, and Madeline actually becomes the Goblin Queen for like 5 minutes, and they rush back and they save it.
I mean, I like it. I mean, since we said Jean Grey is extremely powerful, we need a contrasting villain to match that power, right? And what better villain than herself?
Jean Grey herself.
Basically herself, yeah.
Greatest enemy of...
Exactly, is herself. Exactly.
By the way, the horror themes in this, like we're talking about the first 5 episodes, and the horror theme in most of these episodes are actually amazing.
Pretty good.
I didn't know I enjoyed horror that much.
Yeah, exactly. I really love the horror aesthetic they went for in a couple of episodes.
The reality shifting in the
exactly. The visual storytelling of the show is outstanding, like out of this world. I mean, I watched the original show and it is not as cinematic as it's now. And I really want to thank the showrunners for going in this direction. Like in the first 5 seasons of the original show, you can actually say that it is a TV show. It is like an animated TV show. It is in a 90s style. But when you come to Xmen 97, it is like a cinematic experience. Like every single main plotted episode you watch can be like a how can I say, like an X-Men movie style of cinematic experience.
Yeah, actually, every episode in the first five episodes, every episode can be on its own a movie or basically a show, not show, let's say, but a short movie.
Exactly.
All in all, though, like every episode is, like you said, cut perfectly, edited perfectly.
Exactly.
It's so good. I mean, look at the scenes, right? The storm's arrival on the desert is absolutely amazing.
So the way the lightning shots the sand and it transforms into
and in episode 3, the reality shifting. They are the reality shifting. The mansion literally disappearing from their own feet.
That was good. It's so good. I really had like a little like resemblance to Vox Machina in season 2. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Vox Machina had like a similar kind of aesthetic in some episodes, like when there was one character in particular, the Rogue. But yeah, the Vex. Vex has really similar sequences like that. And the aesthetic they were going for in that show was amazing in its own right, and X-Men had its own style, but also a little similar to that, and has crafted a cinematic and well-enjoyed storytelling in its own. When you look at the 97 classic show, you don't have close-ups. You don't have these grand scale shots. You have really generic looks on it, to be honest. But they elevate it in a lot of ways. The sound design, the cinematography, the animations itself, and the camera. I think the camera has been the most has changed out this, but. It's on another level, and I just love that. So episode 3, we can... hold on. I'm going to talk about one of the flaws. We have been, being a complete stan over this show, but I want to, point out a little bit flaws in this. I think that even though the storylines they choose and write are perfect, and the way they tell them is exquisitely good, I still think that they actually rushed a lot of content in 3 episodes. In 5, you can take
it's
all
a bit
of these.
fast-paced, yeah.
It's too fast-paced. It's not bad. It's always really well written and it flows really well. But in a sense, you found out that Jean Grey has a clone. You don't know which one is the real one in a time scale thing. Which one was the Dark Phoenix? Which one was who know what? And in that same episode, the clone one turns bad to them, and in the same one, she becomes a grand threat. And the same one, she turns back. And in the same one, she leaves the team. There are a lot of story beats for a 13-minute animated show, in my opinion. If they stretch this a little bit and explored a lot of different characters and their perspectives a little more, I think it will be much more meaningful in the end.
I mean, to be fair, the show happens in a chronologically in itself. It's probably a couple months. When we see Madeline leaving the team and such, they probably, it's probably happened off screen.
Probably.
What I'm trying to say. I mean, honestly, I like the fast pace. I don't want to sit through a 2.5 hour, 3 hour movie every time I want to watch a new comic book story. So I'm actually really glad that they kept it as short as they can.
So you are more fan of a fast-paced show with a lot more plot beats inside.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, they could have maybe explored more side stories, you said, but I like that they keep they have one story for one episode. They have to stick to it and continue the whole way through. For example, episode 1, we see the team and we see the tie-in to the first 5 seasons where Xavier died and such. And episode 2, we see that the conclusion of that opening. And episode 3, we see the Goblin Queen and such, and her leaving the team, Jean and her basically have a heart-to-heart.
Good point.
Yeah, and then it continues out from that. I like that. I like that. It's simple, one story beat, stick to it.
That's good. Con, what do you think?
It's like reading a comic book in one day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
Comic books are usually
fast-paced.
Usually fast-paced, low page count, more visuals.
I agree with both of you, but it is my little slightly personal preference. I love when stories take themselves a little bit slow when they need them to be. Xmen 97 takes its time when it needs to take its time, and they do it in a great job. The dialogues, the emotion, they're all pouring out of the screen. I'm saying nothing to that. But I do believe, as in a plot-wise sense, I would probably, wanted a little more slower season. The episode 5, we're going to talk about in a minute, and it feels like a season-ending finale type.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I would really want to stretch this 5-episode story into 8 or maybe 10, and dive into the minds of these characters more, dive into the plot more, dive into the world building more, and made a much more conclusive and much more satisfying ending.
Yeah.
Because I love when they take it a little bit slow in the beginnings and fast forward in the last episodes or in the last part of the story itself. But a fast-paced comic book like X-Men show is also a good piece of media to consume.
Well, it's possible that the target audience and we are consuming content faster than 97.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They have to speed it up, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Reach more.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it could be that they're trying to stick with the originals. I don't know how long the original episodes went, but it's a cartoon. It's probably 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
To give example, my favorite X-Men stories, let's go from the movies, are First Class, Days of Future Past, and they're slightly more slow paced compared to the other X-Men stories and X-Men movies, and I adore that. And I would really wanted to see in X-Men 97 as well, because every single ingredient is there to make the perfect X-Men story, in my opinion. But they're kind of going too fast at times. Like, now we can jump to episode 5, which I believe is the best episode for now. It's a Genosha episode.
We're skipping the whole Jubilee and video games thing.
Well, I think we do. If you have anything to say about it, we can go on.
Mojo, the voice actor for Mojo went all in, and I'm all for it. He was amazing in the episode.
I think they did like a good job with Jubilee and Sunspot also, but I fair-heartedly want to say that I think show with this much plot in it and show with this much character in it did not need that episode. I think it's kind of like a waste of time, to be honest.
I mean, it's a tie-in, but we see side stories like, for example, Storm has trauma since she lost her powers, and she seeks solace in Forge.
So episode 5 is the best episode for now, and I sincerely believe it is one of the best Marvel episodes I have watched for a while.
I mean, it's like you said, it feels like a season finale.
It feels like a season finale. It feels like a second X-Men movie in an Empire Strikes way. Like, if you can take a Genosha storyline, they have been introduced in the episode 5, and you can make a good X-Men movie out of that easily. Yeah. It's really good. And, okay, GD, what are your thoughts on episode 5, the best episode so far?
One word, it's really good. It's not even one word.
It's scary good.
To describe it in one word, you have to say really good. Like, you have to use 2 words, right? It's so good. I mean, from the other episodes, we've seen that, this episode ties the whole entire plot. Magneto becoming the leader of the X-Men and basically the leader of human-mutant relations. So we see that mutants have created a society called Genosha in Madagascar. It's in the island.
Yeah.
And we see that mutants can have peaceful lives when they are left to their own element, and it's like the start of the episode feels like something's gonna go down. Yeah. I'll be honest with that. It feels a little bit peaceful because I'm watching and it's like the UN let them be. There's no sentinels. There's no racism going on against mutants. I feel like something has to happen, right?
Something's gonna happen.
We can't have nice things, right? Right. And then, everything goes out the window. The 15 minutes in.
Oh my god, that's such a good episode. Con, what do you think?
Well, I agree with GD's words, and I can say it was great that Magneto, from treading pace to sacrificing himself, he turned out quite.
I still don't believe him.
He's the good guy. We're the future, Charles. We're the future.
There has to be something.
He protected the green guy.
Leech, yeah, he protected Leech.
Yeah.
The silly little green man.
Yeah. But I think we can say that
I care about silly little green things.
I mean,
inject Yoda here.
I mean, if I remember correctly, his powers are actually really good. He nullifies other superpowers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Leech is pretty powerful, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, but to be fair, Magneto's sacrifice, I didn't expect it. To be fair.
Yeah.
I was expecting him to be. I don't care about these guys. I'm just going to win this. But yeah, I mean,
he did. I love when they discover Magneto's this part. And I genuinely think that he's not a bad guy in the surface. No. He might be, but in a deeper level, he does have a huge care for mutants.
He has a unique sense of, let's say, honor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, he's a bad guy as in he kills people, but of course he's a very emotional person. Mm-hmm. He's a very caring person.
Exactly. Like, we all love villains like Thanos or, to say, Joker, in a sense, but. Can you say that Joker is a good guy? You cannot. In a lot of ways. Can you say Thanos is a good guy? Maybe. He has a point. But Magneto has a really different perspective on this because he does not want to kill actually anyone. He just believes that he's the next evolution, as the mutants. They're the next evolution of humankind, and he's trying to make the groundwork for the world they want to live inside.
Yeah,
and I really love the sequence at the end. When he's protecting Leech.
Yeah,
the Master Mold, the Sentinel, hits him, and he crashes into Charles's statue.
Oh yeah,
and the statue collapses on a couple of mutants, and the rage in his voice and the animation and the tears falling. Then he grabs a subway,
entire train.
I'm saying again, he grabs an entire train, a subway, and he uses it like a whip to hit the Sentinel.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really good. And his sacrifice was also pretty good. But I think in this episode, we wanted to talk about a little more about our suffering French guy who's really good at cards. Also, he's ma chère, or mon ami.
The streets won't forget what they did to Gambit.
Cancel Rogue.
Cancel Rogue and Magneto. Gambit is an amazing guy.
He was one of my favorite when I was watching him when I was a little kid. I loved his powers. I loved his style. And I think he's one of the most unique superheroes in Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
And the way they concluded his story in this one, I think that's ballsy. That is really ballsy to write.
I mean, he went out like a hero. He absolutely went out like a hero would.
The last sentence Charles Xavier said to Gambit, if you remember, they actually say in the first episode, I believe, how long does a scoundrel needs to prove himself that he can be a hero or something like that? And I think he did prove himself this last time.
Yeah.
I think it's ultra emotional, and I would not believe actually if they would say me 10 years ago that Gambit would be probably one of the best written X-Men characters out there in this show. I would not believe it. But he is really good in this one, and he, perfectly has a perfect chemistry with Rogue. He has perfect chemistry with all of the X-Men, and this episode 5 is solely written for him, and I adored it. It was really good.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the romance stuff, I'm usually not interested in it. In this show, I was really interested in it.
It was so good. It was so good.
Help.
Help me. Also we can talk about romance, Magneto and Rogue, to go back to Gambit and Rogue.
It makes me feel uncomfortable. On the other hand, it is actually well written.
Is he 60 years old something?
Around that.
By the way, he's jacked for a 16-year-old. What the hell, man?
Drop the workout routine.
What the hell? Did you see those biceps? So I agree, but they have written them actually quite good, to be honest. Yeah. And you can feel the tension. You can feel the approach they're going in for this, the love triangle. I really don't like love triangles, to be honest. I find it a little bit cheesy and easy to introduce conflict to romantic subplots. But I do believe that they did a good job in this one.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not pretty good. Pretty manageable. And it was pretty good, man. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was quite confusing. At first, she was with Gambit. Mm-hmm. Then we definitely
Then we find out that she was actually with Magneto previously. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it is actually sensible, as in Rogue wanting to touch people. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it is what it is. We're humans. We need to hug. We need to shake hands. Okay, but I mean, Gambit said it the best. Some things cut deeper than skin. Gambit said it the best.
I'm taking my line back. They are writing Gambit's line with more care than Magneto's. Because that line hit home, man.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yep.
And, oh my god. X-Men 97 writers, you're doing it really well.
Make more.
Make more, please.
Make more so we can watch it.
X-Men and superhero stuff like this. It was really good.
Yeah.
Con, what do you think about that line particularly?
Well, it was quite hard.
It's emotional.
It's some might say I even paused the show and cried a little.
Yeah, took a moment. Yeah.
Oh no! Damn it.
It was amazing.
It was pretty good.
But then we understood that she actually wants to be with Gambit at the end of the dance.
Yeah, but it was too late.
Yeah, too late.
It was too late. I also really loved the fact that Rogue's last line and the last line of this episode is "I cannot feel you." I really love that so much. Like Rogue's powers is, it's a little complex, but when she touches someone skin to skin, she can absorb the powers, and memories and all that kind of stuff temporarily. But she, gives some sort of like neurological disease to someone. I'm not sure about the details, but the fact that she said that she cannot feel it, she was willing to even actually hurt him, even if he was alive. And I think that is really emotional and a really good writing. Oh man, it hits home so deep, like really well. It was so good.
That last line is basically this whole show. It's very good.
Exactly.
Go watch it.
Exactly. Go watch this show. Go watch this show.
Yeah.
I think there are 2 more or 3 more episodes left. If it's the first season is going to be 10 episodes, and after the show finishes, we want to make an overall podcast again for Xmen 97. It's going really good. There's 2 or 3 more episodes to go, and also the season 2 is, I think, greenlit. It's doing really well in the streaming also.
Let's go.
Yeah, pretty good news. And do we have anything to talk about the Xmen 97? Gentlemen?
We expect more.
Yeah, we expect more. That basically.
And I want more Wolverine.
Yeah. More Wolverine. Yeah.
I don't want more Wolverine. I don't.
That's why I started.
I want the angry little hairy.
I really love when he's like this in this show. He's a really good side character with good subplots, because X-Men is at its best when he has in the forefront, in the lead, some other more interesting characters. Cyclops, Magneto, Rogue, Gambit. Do more. But less filler, please. We don't want filler. Less filler. Okay, so we don't have any much to say about 97?
Yep. Pretty much it.
GD? Khan?
Go watch it.
Go watch it.
Go watch it. So, okay, we're going to cut it from here. I'm M.
I'm GD.
I'm Khan.
Okay, this is storysip. We hope that you have enjoyed our little podcasty thing. And keep sipping your favorite stories.
Yeah.
See you later.